And we are back. So, it is Wednesday, the 6th of April, 1887. Lady Irene and Miss Carter are still, somewhat wisely, out of town. And in their absence, Franco has had free use of a very comfortable house that I think is far superior than his current lodgings. And Mortimer has had free use of an extensive library that is almost on a par with his own. Therefore, they have become regular visitors to Grosvenor Square. Morgan, though, is still in the hospital, healing up from the events of the recent incident at Blyth Farm. But he has written a letter to a certain contact of his. A Mr. Is it Mr. or do you have another title?
I can go by either Captain or Mr.
Captain Jonathan Cooper, who has owes a favour to Mr. McCrashley, and has been asked to go and pay a visit to certain friends of his living at the London Esoteric Society, residing currently, temporarily, at 18 Grosvenor Square, which is a very respectable London address. So, as you owe Morgan a great deal, you've headed on over. What kind of time of day would you head over at?
Most likely about 10 a.m. local.
Okay. So it's 10 in the morning. Okay. Given that Franco and Mortimer are currently paying a visit to Grosvenor Square, what would you two be up to in the house? What have you been up to over the last couple of days? What's occurring?
So, Franco will be applying to different newspapers on account of his extensive text that he's written for that procedures paper that he was working at right now, and would be sitting there in the study, writing, going over notes and writing an additional application, as he's not currently writing any new articles about stuff that has happened, because most of the stuff's kind of admissions of guilt or something, and it's kind of not actually good. So he's trying to find a more reputable mentor, so to speak, especially since at some point he'll have to live on his own again, and it just feels way better than the situation he was previously in.
Okay, and Mortimer.
Well, besides getting those jars of body parts to Dr. Peterson for him to have a look at, I'd think Mortimer would probably be in the library. And let's see. He would have been checking at a flesh-bound book or skin-bound book. But I'm not sure he would have brought it to the property. I think he might have been checking out before he would have been checking out the day before, more than likely before heading this way.
Okay.
Because he's got suspicions and he doesn't think it'll be a good idea for Lady Irene to touch said book.
Yes, so yes, this book, as you open it out, the binding, the rebinding is new. The book itself is old. It looks to be, let me get my centuries right. Early 18th century, based on the binding, and based on the text, it appears to be French. And the title imprinted on the front page is, forgive my appalling French pronunciation, and be glad that Gray's not here, cultes de ghouls.
That sounds interesting. I probably won't go into that too much.
Does Mortimer
actually-
read French?
I haven't put points into that, but he does know Latin very well, so potentially because of his education he would know some French. Because, to be fair, it's a common enough language for people to study from that time period, especially.
Yeah, so I mean, I
But
don't
would he
think you
know
need any
anything
French to be able to work out what the title might be saying. Like,
No, exactly.
Yeah.
But would he have heard of anything about this book from his business? He
make
deals with exotic and unusual books.
me a roll here. Let's see what skill this would be appropriate here.
Library use, although he's not using a library, it will relate to his knowledge of books.
Yeah, that works. The most useful skill in the game. Everything can be come down to library use and spot hidden. You've heard mention of it mostly during your more recent trawl of trying to read everything you can about corpse-eating Queen Nitocris and Egyptian death cults, that this book is supposedly a great authority on those matters, and it's very rare. In fact, some people suggested that there were no copies left in existence, and that there were only there's only like 10 copies known to exist ever, as far as people writing on it. Maybe more, maybe less. But once it was printed, the church immediately denounced it. And it was basically forbidden, ordered to be destroyed wherever it was come across. And supposedly details the cult's practice of necromancy, necrophagy, and necrophilia in France.
I can see why the church weren't too pleased about it, actually.
I can, on this occasion, do you blame them?
No, I suspect I wouldn't have actually brought that book with me, but I'd still would have left it locked up at my place, but I would have come to the London Esoteric Society's not shop, it's library to do a bit more research.
Yep.
And that's likely where I'm found.
Yeah, so as you're doing a little reading, a little research, there comes a knock at the front door. So just because the library is down on the ground floor at the front of the house. Oop, wrong house. Square. Wrong house again. Apologies. So you hear the knock quite clearly from the library. There's a knock at the front door. And you hear James.
I was just going to start heading that way, but I'll probably hear James on his way.
Yeah. So Jonathan, you've arrived at the front door of this very impressive townhouse. We're talking like steps up to the front door, like classical style sort of columns and decoration. It goes up, like, looks to be about 5 stories above the street with like a lower level as well. It's a very grand looking townhouse. And there's a little brass plaque beside the door. Nothing ostentatious, but just a little plaque that just says London Esoteric Society. The plaque looks relatively new. It looks like it's only been there a few years. And as you knock at the door, it is answered by a smartly dressed young butler. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I was asked to visit here by a Morgan Cashley. Crashley,
Crashley?
sorry.
Mr. McCrashley is not here at the moment. But Dr. Davenport and Mr. Bernice are here if you're looking for them.
That should be sufficient, I believe.
Yes. Please, come in. I will just If you just wouldn't mind waiting there a moment, sir, I will just fetch them. You see him sort of peering round.
I'm probably already being nosy at who's turned up, so.
Dr. Davenport, this gentleman says he's here to see Mr. McCrashley, I believe.
Okay. Crashley's in hospital, I believe, at the moment. But yeah, I'll go and see the gentleman.
Yes. Shall I get tea? And Franco.
Always.
I'll fetch tea and Franco.
Yes. And I'll just wander through to. I'm guessing it'll be. I'm thinking the type of room, not a drawing room as such. It'll be a waiting room as such for them. That they'll have. Any guests will be invited to. I'm assuming it'll be something like a drawing room type thing.
Yeah, you've got a really nice upstairs drawing room. You're after that kind of thing. I think you've got 2 drawing rooms. Because...
Whichever room's closest, I don't mind. A room's a room.
Head upstairs to the drawing room.
So I'll wander through. Good morning. I'm Dr. Mortimer Davenport, a friend of McCrashley's. I think you had come to speak to him.
Morning, Doctor. My name is Jonathan Cooper. Mr. Crashley sent me a post telling me to come visit you guys to discuss, I guess, a challenge you're facing. He wasn't very specific. He just requested that I come and that my services would be needed.
Yes, we encountered a bit of a problem. How well do you know McCrashley and his past?
Well, I met him over in Canada several years back. He helped me out of a bit of a bind that I was in at the time. And we've kept in touch since he came over here back to England. And I actually found myself in England as well for the last few years.
Yes, well, the problem we've encountered relates to the source of his injuries. I'm not sure if he had had his injuries when you saw him last, his scars.
Yes. Yes, he did have a big face scar that I understood he had received previously from around the time his wife had died.
Yes, well, it seems we have found, or by either our luck or bad luck, we may have encountered people involved with that. From Egypt, I believe. Some weird, strange secret society or organization.
I see. So I take it this is to be something rather discreet.
I think it's best to be discreet on this. We're trying to involve as few people as possible simply because, well, it's best to be that way with this sort of problem. But
fair enough.
The secret society, we found somewhere they operated from, and we believe we know when they're meeting up there next, which is actually tomorrow evening. And we were hoping to resolve this problem tomorrow.
You said we have tea and guests? Oh, hello. I'm Franco. Franco Briggs.
Greetings. I'm Jonathan Cooper. I was sent here to presumably assist you guys in a matter.
Ooh. The thing with the house?
Farmhouse, I believe. Mr. Cooper here is a friend of McCrashley.
Okay. That's good. That's good. We could use more people like McCrashley right now. I mean,
well, I'm no McCrashley. I have a slightly different tool set.
Oh, so what's your tool set?
Well, my background is I presume he's never spoken to me before, of you guys, but basically my skill set is varied. I've been known to make tunnels, bring down impediments, either physical or structurally.
I mean, bringing down a structural impediment, it sounds like exactly the sort of problem that we might have got right now.
I have also been known to assist with labor relations that are blocked and need corrected. I have a military background as well.
So maybe we should catch you up on that building then, right?
I think that's probably best.
So that's a farmhouse, right? On the far outside of town, and it has this secret staircase and a giant underground cult gathering place, however you call it. And that is something that we would like to have removed either by tomorrow evening or during tomorrow evening. We're not too sure about how we should go and think about that, but for now, we've just thought it would be, wise to just commit it to the flames, but no one of us has really gotten any professional knowledge about that. And McCrashley was saying he had a friend that knows about such stuff.
What do you mean by giant? We're going to need to talk about scale a little bit here, I think. There's a huge difference between filling the Grand Canyon and knocking over an outhouse.
So the house was a normal sized for like farmhouses, right? Big for city house, but
it was a fairly we're talking like 2 rooms downstairs, 2 rooms upstairs farmhouse. Like, it's not a big house.
Okay.
But very solid stone, 2-foot thick walls in places where you need to hide a secret tunnel.
Oh. Well, those are rather stout dimensions you're mentioning there. So we're talking about taking down a stone structure that is rather robust.
Yeah, and the underground cave, whatever thing that is.
Yes. When you say removing the underground cave, do you mean filling it, blocking it, or raising it completely off the map?
I mean, as possible as each of them are, probably. I mean, erasing would be great, but I doubt we could just do that. Though that I have no idea. Can we?
There'll be a hole that has to be filled. You can't just create volume out of nothing.
I mean, if there's just a hole, that's fine, as long as the thing's not there anymore, and as long as nobody connects us up to the existence of that hole.
Is there a river or something nearby that we can just flood it? That would be much more effective than trying to fill it with stone. Perhaps a creek that could be diverted and fill the hole.
The problem is that there's the outhouse and stuff are still there, even if they're flooded.
Yes, but it's a lot more difficult to make use of a flooded subterranean structure than it is a hollow subterranean structure.
True.
Was there a nearby river keeper?
You're thinking back, and you think it's going to take you a moment to remember.
Yeah, I'll carry on thinking.
So my thought had been just to throw down burning fuels and light something up in the top of the house. And then once the fumes go up, the entire thing just detonates.
This is
Yes.
a subterranean structure?
There is a nearby brook, Stamford Brook.
Oh. So that would be working.
There is a nearby brook to the property. Are there maps? I'm guessing the London Esoteric Society will have maps of the area in general. So just if you wait 1 minute, I'll see if I can find it on one of the maps from the library for you. Just wait here. And I'll just go to the library to see if there's any maps of this area, and when I find them, I'll bring them back.
Yeah, you can easily find a map of like the Kensal Green area, detailing Blyth Farm on the outskirts of the town itself.
Another question, is this the area where a lot of people have been vanishing?
Not directly, no. That was Hampstead Heath, a bit further north.
That's okay. I was just thinking that would be another coincidence.
But it was also North London, yes.
Okay, I'll just bring the map through and point out the property itself. It probably, and show where the brook is as well.
How tall is the structure again?
Just the 2 stories.
And how far down is the structure? The under subterranean portion of it?
Similar, but I think it's probably a little bit deeper than that.
Yeah, I thought like 3 stories, similar, 3 stories down, maybe?
Yeah, the staircase was quite long, the one you fell down.
Yeah.
There is in Siegecraft, there was a technique that was employed to topple walls and keeps where they would light fires underneath the structure of stone structures, if you will, and the thermal expansion would cause it to fall, basically, collapsing upon itself into the void beneath. That's something we could consider as well, I mean, without actually having to resort to full-blown detonations.
That's a good idea. It depends on time frame, because it would have to be done. I believe this secret society are meeting up tomorrow evening.
We would have to be in the substructures to light the fire to start it. We could definitely employ detonations if we need to, but that said, flooding it would probably be the most effective way. Were you able to locate any kind of maps or such to show if there's any kind of water features nearby?
Just the this one that shows that there's a brook nearby.
Ah, yes. Let's see, what scale is this on the map here? May not be close enough to easily divert. People tend to notice when the creek is moved.
Very true.
There's also some other like unnamed like ditches and stuff around, but yeah, Stamford Brook's the nearest like proper watercourse.
Yeah, and also, you need enough water per time to actually flood that thing.
I should probably make you both aware. I suppose the Crown was involved, but a few years ago they made it quite illegal to blow things up.
Yeah, I believe there'd been rumours of some sort of threat on Queen Victoria's life, and they were concerned there might be like a Guy Fawkes type incident planned, so they decided to crack down on that straight away to prevent anyone getting any ideas.
I'm not adverse to blowing things up, unofficially, of course. That said, it's going to take planning to make it appear to not be what it is, if that's really what you guys want to do.
There are a number of things. I believe fertilizer can explode if it's stored.
Yes, there are multiple avenues of explosives out there.
So being that it's a farm, it's possible it could be that sort of thing. I was considering a separate alternative where we might be able to deal with this without an explosion. It wouldn't be as permanent a solution, but would be a way to deal with this secret society.
Honestly, if you just got rid of the way to get down there, that might prohibit them in general, right? I mean,
yeah.
they're going to climb down on ropes?
Well, that's the thing. The staircase itself is completely unlit. Very difficult. It's cut into the stone itself. It's very, well, very easy to fall down if you're not careful. Let's see. What I was considering was if we basically nailed all the windows shut, potentially boarded up the windows that aren't seen from the front access, and the ones that are, whether we could seal those up in some fashion without making it obvious, I don't know. And there is actually a wood stove in the property, and there was a nice kettle there, so I could really put something along the lines of chloroform in that kettle, remove the whistle from the kettle, and do this before we leave, and it would fill the room that these cultists are likely to gather before moving with a form of chloroform gas, which I don't believe, I believe it's very likely odorless. I've not smelt it myself, but I believe it's pretty odorless.
I don't think. No.
You smell it through an entire flight of stairs easily.
But either way, once inside, if everywhere's sealed up, may render some of them unconscious. But that was another alternative I was thinking of.
Does it have to be ether? Because all you have to do is displace enough breathable air, and they're not likely to go in, right? For example, if you were to fill it full of a suitable amount of noxious substance like fertilizer, just plain old cow shit, for lack of a better term.
True.
If you had enough of something in there, it could definitely make it suitably unusable or even desecrated if it's a religious structure.
It is certainly a strange building. The altar itself seemed to have unusual properties. I'm not sure a better way to explain this, but it seemed flames would go out if they were taken too close to said altar.
Yeah.
Are we talking about supernatural stuff, sir?
I mean, an extinguished flame is quite natural, but the reason it is extinguished might not be.
I think that's the best way to explain it.
Fair enough. I'm willing to accept that much.
There's certainly some things we don't understand, and this place is one of them. And some things are best not understood at all, which is why we're trying to remove this problem, we'll say.
Well, I've certainly seen a fair amount of things in the war, so. Okay. So, I suppose we should take inventory real quick and decide what might be the best way. Is there anything else that you folks need to accomplish today? Because it's going to take time to prepare with whatever we decide to go with.
Other than shopping for whatever we need, I'm pretty much free. But I had actually considered us trapping the stairway in case they do actually have access. Even just something as simple as basically waste oil poured down on the steps part way down because of how precarious they are.
Mm-hmm.
And very fine lengths of wire stretched across the stairs at various points. Being that it's unlit, pitch black, as long as the wire's quite fine enough and perhaps darkened, even with the same waste oil so it doesn't catch the light so much, anyone falling down the steps will fall through sets of very sharp wire.
Well, I suppose piano wires should be relatively easy to get of a thin register.
Even if
Problem
we
is
further down. But, yes.
You still have to bring it to a strong enough tension, and they have to have enough force put against it to accomplish your aims.
It's just an extra plan.
Would it be correct in presuming the floors of the structure are wooden? At least on the the upper levels.
The upstairs, you didn't ever go upstairs in the house. The floor of the farmhouse was like flagstones. It's a big stone flags. And then when you went downstairs, again, the floor was big stone slabs.
No, it was pretty much stone as far as we could tell. Very solid structure.
The roof might have been wood, though. Wooden shingles. I mean, that would have
probably thatch roof, I think.
Thatch.
I think we're far enough south that they would use thatch.
Thatch roof would probably fit. It's a farmhouse.
Yeah.
There are quite a few different options we have to deal with.
That's going to burn quite well, right? And thatch is also built with wood below, I think.
Yeah, it's like wooden beams and then essentially bundled straw.
I mean, burning down that is probably easy. The question is how much of the stuff inside is going to survive that.
Unfortunately, if the floors are stone, as you gentlemen have indicated, and it's not supported stone, meaning that it's using a natural structure to support it, it may not accomplish our goals, because usually you don't. From what I've seen, usually the super layers are done with the wooden support, and it would be over the hull would be wood. What I'm hearing, it sounds almost like it's supported stone with potentially stone beams, which is an entirely different matter.
I think our main concern is the subterranean part. We're not too concerned whether the main building is still standing, or it could be a pile of rubble. But the access to the subterranean tunnels are what we're going to try and deal with.
And if we could just destroy the secret staircase, that would, remove access altogether. Though this was hewn in stone, right?
It was lined with stone. You didn't spend a lot of time examining the stonework here. Okay. But you reckon there were stone steps. They were, probably more likely tunneled out of earth, at least the upper bit, rather than laid into, because you wouldn't have been down to the bedrock yet.
Okay.
Well, the good news is the typical blasting approach that's used is to excavate a small volume for the sticks to be put into, and then do a chain event using cord. So we have options here if we want to. It's going to take more than one person, more than a short period of time to put it in. Are we going to have the structure to ourselves for this period of time?
We hope so. There were a pair of gentlemen, we'll say, who were daytime security. And we had an associate with us who advised them not to return, and they seemed quite keen on the idea of not returning. They were the only daytime security as far as we know, so very likely they've not informed the people who had employed them. The nighttime security of the property, I believe, might have been dealt by the creature we encountered in the altar room.
Creature?
Oh, yeah. It's gone now. Don't worry about that.
Are we talking about a large cat, or what are we talking about?
We don't know what it was.
Fair enough.
It was pitch black. We were working from candlelight, and there was a strange creature. Very large. It seemed to be armored, winged, and snake-like.
I see. That does seem rather unusual.
It's not what we expected. But, yeah, it was certainly something.
Sounds almost like a dragon, to be honest with you.
Whatever it was quite terrifying to encounter something like that in the dark.
Did not spit any fire because I don't think we would have returned it in that case.
Yeah.
We were very, very lucky. McCrashley is a hell of a shot.
Yeah.
I suppose St. George had to fight one, so why not us, right?
That creature's dealt with, but I believe that was their nighttime security, and the daytime, gentlemen who were looking after the property never saw anyone else at the property. They were told to leave.
If I understand you gentlemen correctly, so we're talking about bringing a wagon load of dynamite into a confined space and trying to make everything in the structure go aloft, preferably in a mostly vertical direction. Is that correct?
That would be ideal.
Like a cannon.
That would be.
I mean, if that's feasible, we have no clue.
How large is this cannon in diameter?
The staircase in itself was just like maybe meter, half a meter, 1.5 meters, something like that.
We'll just say single
diameter.
file. There's enough room for one person to go down.
It wasn't even a meter wide, the staircase. We're talking like
75.
narrow staircase, yeah. So a couple of feet.
It's a shame we just didn't have a large stone to push down there and block it. Oh, I suppose we do, actually. That's the stone above it.
Exactly.
So that becomes a manageable thing. Why don't we find the approximate area and blast the opening open, turning it into a large clogged entranceway? How long do you want to divert these people? Are you looking to make it permanent or just
A man would be
Take your-
ideal.
Tournament would be ideal, but what do you think would be best or easiest? Because you're the expert as such.
Well, as you might imagine, we don't normally put tunnels in overnight like this. It takes a little more planning than this. Even when we were taking out train lines during the war, it took more work than this. Okay. This is going to be a challenge. That's a rather substantial challenge. I would say poisoning the air seems like an easier approach than doing it. Unfortunately, though, even that is only going to be a temporary matter, because how do you make an airtight area of this size? In fact, I'm not sure how you do that. I've never tried to make it.
I was just going to say, most farmhouses are quite drafty anyhow.
I was going to say, speaking as someone who grew up living in a old farmhouse, those things are as far from airtight as you can get.
So if we were to make a hot enough fire, you could use thermal gradation to your benefit, I suppose. If we were to make a giant bonfire in the bottom of this area and manage to get the heat high enough.
The problem is that would need lots of air, right? And I do think the only way the air gets in and out of that is the staircase.
Yes, it's a chimney.
Oh, I see.
Use the chimney effect to siphon the air up and it becomes superheated.
So,
Eventually you get thermal gradient above it and your rock shatters. If you put holes in key places, it might shatter in such a way that it actually falls. Either way, your presence will be known and you don't necessarily have to sit there and watch it the whole time.
so it sounds like we've got a lot of cunning plans.
This is going to be fine.
Do
we have
Yes.
Do we have access to any kind of fuel source? I know that out west they used to use the excrement of animals as a fuel source. We might be able to, if we can get sufficient amounts of this material, that might be a suitable means.
I believe there's plenty of that available.
I mean, there's farming around.
Yeah, there's farming in the area. The actual farm, Blyth Farm itself, looked pretty abandoned, but there's plenty of farms in the area. Also, you currently live in a city where
Not much sanitation.
with not much sanitation, and also where pretty much every house is being heated by burning a shit ton of coal.
Yeah, that is a good point.
So
Coal is quite available here, isn't it?
yeah, you know that even in Grosvenor Square you have like a massive coal cellar with a large amount of coal in it. And
I tell you what, we could get a couple of loads of coal and other similar means. All we have to do is light the source up. It would do its own work.
Sounds perfect.
And
Sounds like a plan.
we wouldn't all end up in prison for it.
Even better.
so, do you have a plan?
So
Do you know what materials you're after?
we're gonna organize a cart full of coal for that farmhouse, and it's not gonna land in the coal cellar. Well, nobody's gonna know that until it burns down. So, I guess that sounds like a plan. We can just dump it down the stairs, put it like in one big pile.
Yes. Honestly, you just dump it down the stairs into one big pile.
Okay, so who is placing the order for this coal? And
So,
How much
are
coal
you
we
ordering it to
talking
the
about?
farm, or are you ordering it to just taking what you've got?
How much coal are we talking? Is it an extraordinary large amount, or
Talking
is it
about
sort of-
about a meter's worth of diameter, correct?
yep.
And you said it's about 3 stories tall?
The stairwell itself wasn't that tall. Like the stairwell was about a story and a half. The first stairwell.
I
So
was
about
just trying
5
to
meters, roughly, if that sound about right?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
does sound.
I'm a really bad judge of distance, okay, so take this all with a pinch of salt that's like this big.
I'd say you need about a wagon's load, honestly. A wagon's load would be about what you would use at this point to do a comparable blast furnace out of this.
So
Sort of amount
that's a
that-
normal amount, quite.
I'd say that sounds like pretty much the sort of amount you'd have like a full coal bunker with, more or less.
May I offer a solution for you, gentlemen?
We could order it through the society here, possibly.
I
If
would
it's a
recommend.
normal delivery.
I would recommend actually using a third party not associated with the society as a humanitarian or beneficial donation to a needy farmhouse to prepare them for winter.
That sounds great. That sounds really great. I'm gonna get the call right this moment.
And at this point, you look beneficial and as opposed to detrimental.
Yeah, we're gonna order like a cart full of coals to that farmhouse. Perfect.
I will be looking into accessing something a little extra just to give it a little oomph. Something that can be ignored.
I see.
It sounds a good plan.
Yeah.
So when shall we meet and where shall we meet?
Ooh. How long do you reckon it would take to get everything together? We could probably start tomorrow morning on the 7th.
I think that's probably about right. You said it's a day or two before the event occurs?
It's actually tomorrow evening, so it'll be the same day, so we'd have the day to get the place ready.
We may not have this much time then. We need to actually start it tonight.
Okay, we can start.
Okay.
Okay.
So, evening then?
Evening.
So, who is placing the order? Can I have? And you're going with this.
We're going with the absurd philanthropy angle on this.
It's not so absurd. Give me a fast talk roll. Basically, this is more.
Nice.
Does this ring any suspicious bells with the person at the other? No, this is just a really nice thing to do. Of course. And in fact, the coal company even probably give you a slight discount on this because it's for philanthropic purposes.
Exactly. Noble purposes all the time.
Yes. But yes, they will send out a cart full of coal over to Blyth Farm. What name are you making this philanthropic purchase under?
I will probably have invented one. Well, you know what? I'm gonna use the name of my boss. I mean, just the surname, but right. That's all they need, right?
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, you place the order for coal, and it's going to be there by late this afternoon.
Perfect. And I will immediately make my way to the farm so I can be there to take the coal in.
Okay, so are the rest of you going with him as well, or do you have any other business to handle before?
I'll go with him as well.
I will need to procure a few extra items. If you don't mind, gentlemen, if you'll excuse me, I need to procure some drilling accompaniments as well as some gelatin, I believe, would be appropriate in this situation, and perhaps some blasting cord.
Yes. So you have the resources and the contacts to be able to acquire this sort of thing. And
yep, Mr. Nobel was kind enough to give me a credit card, if you will. Just buy it directly from his British outlet.
Exactly. But as we head on over, I think, as I have some lighting and technical stuff to fix before this thing breaks again, this is probably a good point to call a quick 10-minute break. And we'll see you in just a moment. Now the plans have been laid. Welcome back from break. We'll not get distracted by any more disastrous science facts. So, after gathering your supplies, you've headed on over to Blyth Farm. And what you can see is this essentially abandoned farmhouse. There is this squat 2-story farmhouse building surrounded by a barn, stables, and a couple of other outbuildings, all built of fairly plain but solid looking stone, thatched roofs on them. There doesn't look to be anyone around. It's quiet. No one moving around the buildings. No animals in the fields. You hear a slight rustle of movement that might be like a squirrel or some other small animal in the hedgerow. Other than that, all seems really quiet and still as you approach the farmhouse. And then the peace and quiet is broken by the rattling approach of a cart full of coal. afternoon.
Learn.
Coal delivery for a Mr. Oh, can't read my boss's handwriting. A coal delivery for Blyth Farm.
Yeah, well, that's here.
Where do you want it?
Just put it into the I'm opening up the barn, and we'll find a suitable place after it's fine. We'll shovel it.
All right. He just kind of tips up, slides out a whole heap of coal.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And, yep, I'll be. I'm presenting a very thankful person for the, free coal.
Are you pretending to be like the?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm just, presenting that.
Oh, coal delivered. He heads on off.
Good. And now just start getting like shovels and maybe a handcart and dump this stuff down there. And just start working.
Is the aim just to essentially shovel it down the secret staircase?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you go into the farmhouse, Mortimer and Franco, you've seen this place before, but Jonathan, you haven't, so for your benefit. It's got downstairs. It seems to be a room with a kitchen with a small stove. Mostly not much in use. There's a lot of cobwebs growing in the corners. Lots of dust piled up. In the other room, again, lots of cobwebs, lots of dust. A bookshelf that's been dragged away from the wall. Probably scattering a few books and some broken, china cats on the ground. And behind where the bookcase used to be is a door in the wall. Quite small, even for a cottage door. And as they open that up, you can see, starting off as within the thick wall of the farmhouse and then just going down into the ground is this narrow, steep staircase. And as you open the door, it's like cold wind, stale air blows up from below.
Well then, get that stuff down there. And just chuck the first load down the stairs, hearing the clattering of the coals down.
I'm going to take a cloth that I brought, and I'm going to cover my face up because I do actually know about black lung. And then I go out there and sit with my hand drill, and I start carving sections periodically along the side of the staircase.
Okay. I'm going to ask for a roll here. I think this falls under either engineering or demolitions, would you say? That sounds reasonable.
Well, cutting the holes would be engineering. The actual planning the part for demolitions would be demolitions. So pick one.
Give me an engineering for the hole drilling.
It would be green, correct?
Yes, please.
14 points of luck.
So as you start going with this...
How do I do that?
So you realize
Or pushing.
this rock is solider than you thought with the thing of your hand drill. You realize this is going to take longer than you thought to drill these holes. You can take 14 points away from your luck and make yourself a more unlucky person by taking your luck down from 40 to, do some maths, 26. Or you can push this roll and I would say here you're going to risk, that's essentially a re-roll but putting yourself at more risk. And I'd say your risk here is this is dark and unstable working conditions, and your risk here, given the reputation of this staircase, is you're going to fall down at some point whilst trying to drill a hole in the wall.
Or not just one hole
some
either.
Injury. Yes.
Not just one hole, multiple holes.
Yeah. So you can choose to spend the luck to push the roll, or just accept a failure.
I'm going to push the roll.
Okay. Give me a
So my
reroll,
luck
please.
reduces, correct?
No,
Or
no,
reroll.
no. Just a reroll for a push. Hey, that's not like it. That is a success. So you are balancing yourself at a more unstable angle in this dark staircase. Speaking of which, how are you lighting this operation? What are you doing?
Hopefully not with a flame.
I mean,
Anyone have lime lights or anything like that they can use?
There are type of lanterns. I'm trying to remember that they used in the mines. I cannot remember what they were called, but they were basically safe ones for in case of gas.
Those are limelight, if I remember correctly.
So chances are we would have had something like that.
that's the kind of thing that Jonathan, you're used to working in underground conditions, and
Yes.
I think.
And I would have brought suitable light illumination for potentially combustible environments. I have seen
Okay.
coal mines.
So you're drilling on this staircase. Are you two trying to shovel the coal down the staircase whilst he's drilling?
Nah, probably not.
Okay.
Chances are we're bringing the coal.
Yeah, right up front,
Okay.
and we can just shove it down afterwards.
Okay. So Jonathan's the one down the staircase as the two of you are up top. And as you're drilling away at this, Jonathan, would you give me a listen roll, please? That's the roll you never want to have to make. No, it's usually a fine one. So as you're drilling, over the side, like the grinding of the stone from this hand drill, you hear a noise coming from down this staircase. You hear what sounds like a scrabbling and scuttling noise. At first just like the movement of rats or something down in the dark. Then you hear a whisper of a voice. I see you.
Hello there. Show yourself and be known.
Come down.
No, I think not. Show yourself and be known. And at that, I reach for my revolver.
So the two of you at the top of the shovel staircase can hear Jonathan talking to someone down in this stairwell. So you can reach for your revolver. You hear him sort of whispered scuttling and scrabbling from down the bottom of the staircase beyond the limit of your limelight in the chamber below.
I'm
not new to rats.
I'm gonna turn over to Mortimer and be like, do you have your gun?
I have both my guns, and we brought the shotgun with us.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna take the shotgun, but I keep working here, and you go down there and check who's the visitor down there. There shouldn't be anybody down here.
Yeah, will do. Out of character, I don't think Morgan mentioned about the voice he heard, did he? He didn't tell us a thing about that. No problem.
He did not.
I'll start making my way down the staircase to where Jonathan is, and you okay, Jonathan? We heard you talking to someone, but we didn't quite hear what was going on. Are you talking to yourself, or just...
Honestly, I don't know. I've seen a lot of combat in my years, and you just don't know sometimes. And I continue about drilling my holes and planting my explosives along the staircase.
I'll stay here and keep an eye out as well as I can.
Appreciate that. Be mindful of the dust, though. You're going to want to go ahead and put a mask on.
I'll use my muffler. I would have... To be fair, knowing what sort of work we're doing, we wouldn't... I'm assuming Franco and myself wouldn't have turned up in the finest clothes anyway. We would have brought working clothes, more than likely, something that's a bit harder wearing.
I'm hoping.
And, knowing we're going to be working with coal, we would have brought something, even just like the mufflers that they had for all the smog and all that crap in London, just that sort of thing. And also, it would be to conceal our faces, should we need to. Something that goes across here. Not that we'd be spotted, but I've got a horrible feeling something's going to go really bad. But yes, I'll keep watch and do what I
Okay,
can.
so are you keeping watch from below Jonathan on the staircase or above Jonathan on the staircase?
I'd say slightly below him, because
Okay.
if I'm going to shoot something, I'd rather Jonathan wasn't in the line of fire.
So you're a few steps down. Are you working from top to bottom or bottom to top, Jonathan?
Honestly, I only need to make a gap of at least 10 feet. Because truthfully, most people are not going to clear a 10-foot gap. Apologize. 2-meter gap.
Well, yeah. I've run D&D for years, I know. Speak feet.
So I'm looking to create a 2-meter gap, if you will, that is sufficient to make it impossible to cross.
Okay. Yeah, so a few steps below him on the stairs, Mortimer, you're almost at, like, the chamber below. You got your light sort of reaching out onto the edge of the chamber. You see the shadows where the corridor led to the cells, and the other door to the chamber with the surgery table.
The butcher block, more or less.
Yes.
And the organ storage.
Yes. But would you mind giving me a listen roll, actually, as you're down there? As you're one down in the darkness. You hear scuttling. It sounds bigger than a rat, really. I think scampering and scuttling. It sounds like it's coming from further down towards the staircase that leads deeper down towards the lower chamber.
Towards the altar room, sort of thing?
Yes, towards the altar room.
I'll try and keep track of the noise. But I'll just try and keep a track of the noise to see where it's going, what it's doing, and make a note if it comes a lot closer than I'm happy with.
Okay. So, it's at this point, as afternoon passes into evening, as you're drilling these holes, getting the dynamite. Is it dynamite you're using?
No, I haven't
Yes.
actually told you what type I'm using.
Yes.
I'm just making a void there, and I plan on putting blasting gel in, actually.
Yes. Forgive me, my knowledge of explosives is sadly incomplete.
It's okay. It's incredibly new at this point. Really, really
Yeah,
new.
I've not kept up to date with these newfangled inventions. Yeah,
it's like the last thing Nobel was working on.
Look, I mean, since when wasn't gunpowder just good enough for everyone? I mean, come on. We really
No,
need this newfangled gel stuff.
Yeah, it's glycerin gel, so let's just say I'm not dancing with it.
Oh, no. Yes, so I would like whoever has the lowest luck in this group to make me a luck roll, please, at this point.
I presume that's me.
No, it's not.
How much luck does Franco have?
21.
You're right. It's not me then.
Oh, come on! So close!
Would you like to spend some luck to succeed on that? Oh, no, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Franco, you're the person
I'm
up
on
top
top.
now at the moment, and you hear what sounds like a carriage approaching the farmhouse.
That's not good. I'm going to the staircase. We're getting visitors, and I'm gonna go up. I'm going up to the door and, just peek out.
Okay, that as in the farmhouse door.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you see a 2-horse-drawn carriage. It doesn't have any livery on the outside. Just pull up to the edge of the farmhouse. Looks definitely like a city vehicle rather than something from the countryside. And you see the door open, and two figures step down.
I'd like to hide behind the door, but keep looking.
Okay, give me a good old stealth roll, please.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, you're well hidden behind a door as these two figures. One of them looks reasonably smartly dressed, like not expensive clothes, but fairly like smart city clothes. Black suit, tie, respectable hats. I can't remember what the hat fashion at this moment in time is. I really need to be up to date on 1887 hats. But a very respectable hat. The other man is dressed more like a servant or labourer. Looks more heavily built. Someone who could, shift some heavy things if needed. Neither of them are people you've met before. And they're coming towards the farmhouse. And the better dressed man says to the other one, "Where the hell are those gentlemen? I swear, Gray said he had hired someone to take care of this place. Probably took the money and slacked off. Can't trust those sort of folks." Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Right, they're now sort of getting towards the door of the farmhouse.
Sure.
As
That's enough to know that somebody's involved. Some certain people are involved. I told the others that there were people coming. I don't know what they are doing right now, but I'm gonna keep myself hidden until they notice that something's up. They'll keep an eye out, and I have the shotgun with me, so worst comes to the worst, I'm just gonna open fire on them from somewhere behind their backs or something.
Okay, so from when Franco mentioned there were people coming, you've had perhaps a couple of minutes. What have you done with that time?
How close was it to finishing what we were trying to do?
About halfway through.
Couple of minutes. We could hide. This is a 2-story building.
I mean, there's a giant stack of coal in front of the secret door. Just saying.
It is. That'll be quite a distraction to them. I don't think being in the staircase is a good idea at this point. So I probably would have made my way into the main part of the farmhouse and probably, depending where the staircase to go to the...
So you're going back up into the house?
I'm not sure, actually. What do you think, Jonathan?
So, as you're having this discussion, you hear footsteps reach the outside of the door of the farmhouse opening.
I assume you guys had mentioned to me that there were 2 guys here yesterday that were working as guards? Okay. So I will point out, since we've got cold soot all over us, I'm going to come out and say, Sir, we're here with the delivery. We placed it inside in preparation for the house owners. I understand that's where it's supposed to go, correct?
So you just popped up out the staircase?
I am outside because I don't know about the secret staircase. Remember, it's secret.
As in you've come out the secret staircase to go and, out to say this?
And presumably have a shovel in my hands, because I've just been in the process of unloading the coal.
So you're inside the farmhouse, because they've just got to the door at this point. So.
Yep, and I'm like, we've unloaded the coal as directed, sir.
All right, give me a fast talk roll here, please.
Oh, I am so doomed.
Who's the one with the bad luck here, huh?
So for reference here,
I guess low numbers work. Sorry.
He just rolled a hard success on a skill he had 5 points in. So, the two men who open this farmhouse door look at Jonathan. Go over to
And the shovel.
The shovel, the coal.
Coal dust.
The better just trying to go.
I would have followed Jonathan up as well.
What on? Like, who told you could, like, coal? We didn't ask for a coal dinner. Halt. Do we need a coal dinner?
For the winter. I understand you needed coal for the winter. It was a humanitarian delivery.
What?
A delivery to help out the hard people that own this place.
How did? Who ordered this again? What?
I'm not in management. I can't tell you that. I don't know.
Get out! Get out! You're not supposed to be in here. Nobody's supposed to be. Lately, they've got the bookcase moved. What?
What bookcase?
It kind of pushes past you towards the other room of the house. It goes, that bookcase.
And I hit him over the head with a shovel. What's the roll for it?
Give me a fighting brawl roll, and then.
Okay.
So Franco's hidden behind a door. Mortimer has just come up the staircase.
I'm gonna push luck to get it.
You're gonna spend the 2 luck?
Yeah, the 8 luck. I think I need a 50 to pass.
No, you just need a 40. I think.
Oh, yeah, I'll spend the 2 luck then.
Yeah. Yeah, spend
so
2
I hit
luck.
him over the head.
Okay. Roll me. Let me just. Please hold whilst the keeper checks the stats for a shovel, which, knowing Call of Cthulhu, someone has probably specified.
Oh, well.
Also, no, they haven't specified shovel. Let's call this.
Presumably I have proficiency in swinging a shovel as well.
Yeah, you don't need proficiency. It's more just. Let's call this 1d8 plus any damage bonus you have, which. Let me check your sheet. You don't have any damage bonus, so you don't need to worry about that. Just 1d8. 8. Alright. That. Let's just see if this. He's going. Collapses down to one knee and slumps to the ground unconscious. So which one were you hitting? The one who's making the fuss?
Whoever bent down to go towards the bookshelf. I'm assuming it's the well-dressed gentleman.
Yes, it was.
And not the servant.
The servant, spins around, sees you there with the shovel. Franco, you're hidden in the door behind the door in the other room, so you don't have ready to go. What's your dex? What's your dex, Franco?
50.
50. What? Mortimer, what's yours? You're muted if you're trying to say anything.
This guy's just double checking. It's 50 as well.
Okay. This man gets to go before either of you two, and he, in his panic and surprise, is going to try and punch the shovel-wielding maniac. Shovel-wielding maniac, you have the option here to try and dodge out of the way of this, or to try and fight back. So if you're trying to dodge, you roll dodge. Yeah.
May I throw some blasting gel on him?
Not really as a, because this isn't your action, this is in response to his.
Oh, yeah,
so
I have a defense.
Like a fighting brawl or a dodge, essentially. You can try and fight back against him, or you can try and dodge out the way. If you dodge, you get a better chance. Basically, you succeed if it's a draw. It's a dodge, but I don't think this is relevant.
I think I'll do fighting brawl because, I would be prepared.
Yeah, give me it. So, you don't manage to do any damage to him. But he, with a 77, does not manage to do any damage to you either. He, like, flails towards you with his fist. And Franco and Mortimer. Franco, you got the gun, so I'll let you go first. You had the gun.
I'm gonna step out and just level the gun at the guy and say, "Drop it."
Okay, roll intimidate for me, please.
I'm just not looking scary enough to actually manage to drop people. I mean, the gun's just shaking.
The man does not look intimidated by Franco. Mortimer, what are you doing?
Well, more or less the same sort of thing. I'm going to draw both pistols I've got and point them straight at him and tell him to stop.
Okay, let's see if you're more menacing coming out of the, like, looming behind him from the stairwell.
Unfortunately, I'm more charming than intimidating.
Fuck no. And he... You know what, he's going to go and try... Looks like he's ready to run. But, Jonathan, it's back round to your turn, I believe. Actually, what is your dex, Jonathan?
Good question.
You might be... Oh, 50. Everyone's on 50. Yeah. But seeing as we've done the others, we'll back round to you.
How long does it take for me to pull my sidearm out and shoot him?
1 round.
Okay, so I don't think I've had enough time to do anything but pull it at this point.
As in, you can... I say you can draw it and shoot him. Rounds are it's a more nebulous concept in Cthulhu than some other games. Like, it's...
I'm gonna go ahead and push it.
You can't
put. Okay.
Sorry, you can't push fighting rolls, unfortunately, because it's all like fast. Go, go, go. You could spend 26 points of luck, but yeah, that's quite a lot.
I'll spend the 26 points.
There he is, spoken like a man who is prepared to take the consequences. Wow. That takes you down
to 12 if my sheet will let me.
Yeah, 12. Oh my god. Yeah. So you get a lucky hit on him. What kind of gun would Jonathan be carrying with him?
It would be a revolver of the cult species.
Yep.
Or whatever the suitable military sidearm was for that era.
I can't remember what the gauge on the Colt is. Are we?
I think it'll be a D8 because it'll be the same as Mortimer's because both his are sort of military
let's
pistols.
Say a D8. That seems fair.
And Storyteller, I'm gonna need help on that. It won't let me change the number for luck.
Okay. Bear with me one moment. I will attend to that. Please roll me 1d8. As you're doing this, I will. That should be changed now.
Oh, I think I know it wasn't letting me. It's my keyboard had giving me issues.
Oh no. So, yeah.
I'm going to need assistance on this roll. I apologize.
1d8. Assistance coming right up. As a 5, not quite as lethal as the shovel, but as the shot hits him, he like cries out in agony, like clutches his shoulder, and then looking round, seeing that he is outnumbered, he is going to try and dodge past you all and get away. And he is just like looking, weaves past, ducks past you, and is now legging it. So he's got past Mortimer, and Franco, you're the one in like the kitchen room, like the first room they came into. So as he's heading out the door, you get a chance to do one last thing.
Unlikely, but I'm gonna pull the trigger, and I'm shooting somewhere.
The shotgun blast echoes. The horses on the carriage like rear up in panic at the sound, and the carriage starts like rolling off away. The man chasing after him, he like calls out to the carriage driver like, "Get us out of here! Get us out of here!"
That's inconvenient.
I take it there was a driver on the carriage as well, then. That's unfortunate.
Actually, no, actually, yes, yeah, they would have taken a driver as well as those two. He's not the carriage driver.
Well, the driver has to get the guy under the carriage under control first. So
Yes, the carriage is doing a bit of wildly rearing back and forth. It's not like if you still want to do something, you've got chance.
I'm just gonna try another couple of shots.
Oh yeah, this carriage is like hurtling like a little madly, and the guy like is clinging on to like the side of it. He's not managed to get into the carriage yet.
Okay.
Give me another shot with this shotgun, because I believe you got 2 shots for it, right? Or is it a single barrel?
It should be a double barrel. I don't think we have specified it. But no matter what, it's gonna go.
Second shot echoes out as this carriage is getting away now, out the farmhouse onto the road.
Well, I'm gonna go back. Our time limit got a whole lot shorter right now. I'm gonna reload the shotgun. Just slack it over me and start shoveling the coals down the.
The guy who was knocked out.
Yeah. Yeah, you have an unconscious guy sprawled across the floor.
Just
We could put them in the cells down at the bottom.
Storyteller, if there's enough time before yet for me to follow the guy out, I'm going to be grabbing my blasting gel, lighting it, and throwing it at the carriage.
So he'd gone past you, and you're chasing after him.
Yes, while
I'll give you one roll on throw here. See if this goes off well.
Keep in mind with explosives, I don't have to actually hit it.
No.
do.
What the hell is going on?
I just killed everything there, basically.
We'll rewind a second. Franco takes 2 wild shots that go wild as this carriage veers away, and you think, no, they're getting away, when...
It's hamburger, folks.
This explosion goes off. You hear the panicked scream of the horses caught in this blast, and the coach drivers, the wreckage of carriage splinters scattered across the yard.
Guys, you need to bring some coal out here and set it on fire in the wreckage so we can explain that it was a coal explosion.
Sure. I'm grabbing a shovel and run up there and chuck it in there.
The guy who you threw it at appears to be pretty, hang on, is this blasting?
The guy's alive. Oh boy.
And not for long.
It's a normal guy, not.
How deadly this is compared to other forms of explosives.
Call it dynamite for simplicity's sake.
Yeah, give you 4d10. I want to see how many people you've killed here.
You're gonna need help on the dice roll.
Sorry. Oh yes, sorry. 4d. One of you give me a 4d10, please. I don't want to be responsible.
Just copy that. 40-20, whoops.
Yes, you give me a roll for it. He's having keyboard difficulties. I'll let you take control of some.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
21 damage would that be?
Okay, yeah, that is enough to, outright kill the man. The carriage driver. And severely injured both the horses. You can hear them like one of them looks pretty much dead. The other one injured beyond repair. You can hear this panic cries of pain. This animal caught in the blast explosion.
Definitely gonna have to use coal dust explosion as an explanation, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna shovel some coal in there.
And we're gonna have to light the coal because we're gonna need
Yeah.
the ash.
Keep it. I'll walk up to the horse because, as he said, it's severely injured but still alive.
Yeah.
I'll basically just shoot it in the head, finish it off, because it's not going to recover from that, and I'm not going to leave it in that state.
Another gunshot echoes around the yard.
The gentleman who was knocked out, did I recognise him?
Give me a look roll, actually.
A luck roll?
Yeah. I think let's see if you happen to have met before.
Sounds a bit suspect. I'll just try and find where my luck is. Ah, there it is.
Well, I tend to use... No, he's not someone you recall meeting before. He's got one of those faces, you might have seen him somewhere before, but nowhere that you, like, he stood out. You might have passed him on the street once, but, nowhere important.
Could put him in one of the cells downstairs.
Perfect. We just suffocate in there.
Or let whatever that voice is. Perhaps it's another dragon.
I hope it really isn't. That thing didn't really speak to us.
Yeah, maybe it's a memory then. I don't know.
It's something very strange down there. Yes.
Yeah. Let's get that solved.
Okay, so I'm going out to light the coal that's out there while they move towards addressing the man.
Yeah. Just gonna pull him down the stairs. Just keep shoving him. Just thump him down.
So
Storyteller,
Yeah.
Do I need to dress this to make it a roll or something?
I'm going to say, what skill are you drawing on here to correctly simulate a tragic coal explosion? Is this...
Demolitions.
Give me a demolitions roll. Yeah, that seems fair enough. I know what this should look like. Yeah, you can dress this to look less like someone hurled some jelly.
Your average policeman is probably not going to be familiar with demolitions, but he would be aware of what coal explosions look like.
Exactly. So yes, you're dressing this scene. Franco is dragging this poor unconscious man down to the cells. What's Mortimer doing as this is going?
I would have been helping Franco.
Okay.
Also on the fact that weird voice thing and that scuttling. So I would have gone with Franco to be on the safe side.
Okay, so you...
Did the gentleman have any books or anything interesting on his person?
No, he had... So if you're packing down through his pockets...
Just seeing if he had any weird occult books.
He's got a bit of money on him. Like he's got a few coins, carrying a fairly decent amount of money.
Any initialed handkerchiefs or items?
Oh yes, yeah, he's got an initialed pocket handkerchief. It says J W on it.
Yeah, still don't know who it is, but at least I've got an idea if someone mentions a name of those in the future.
And I don't know if there's anything else. There'd also probably be some keys.
Just general things.
Yes.
Oh, I'd actually take the keys.
One of them looks like it could very well be the key to
the cells.
The bookcase. The secret door behind the bookcase, if you remember, was locked when you found it. In fact, actually, if you tried them in the locks, one of them would be the key for the cells. He would have that.
That saves us a bit of trouble.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're locking him in one of these cells, are you? Is that the plan?
Not just that. Yep. I reckon the cell that Franco's brother was held in, we'll put him in that cell, and the gag and the things that his brother was restrained with, we'll use the same ones on this guy.
Okay.
Perfect. I mean, we never left it. So...
And just lock it back up.
Tie him up, lock him up in the cell. kind of murmurs, but he seems pretty out of it, and this heavy shovel blow to the head. Whether he'll ever recover is unknown really at this point. Concussion is dangerous. But, you've dressed the accident upstairs, you've imprisoned this man down in the cells, and as you're leaving the room with the cells, as you're passing the doorway that leads deeper down, I'd like a listen roll from both Franco and Mortimer, please. Meanwhile, as you're down in the darkness, upstairs, Jonathan, the sun is setting, night is falling. And Franco, as you pass that dark entrance leading darker down, you hear a little whisper. And all it says is, I see you, Franco.
I'm just gonna wait a moment and be like, okay. Keep going, keep shoveling the coal down there. Make sure that everything's going fine. Okay, it knows my name. Yay. Great.
So are you simply carrying on to finish the work? Is that the plan?
I'm carrying on finishing the work, yeah.
What about you, Mr. Cooper?
At this point, I would have finished with the carriage, and I've moved to placing the blasting gel and such in the holes on the staircase, and then bringing blasting cord, if you will, out to a safe distance.
Okay. And Mortimer? I believe you were saying something?
I was just about to ask whether Franco wanted to keep a lookout to make sure we don't get any more carriages turn up, or whether we should just focus on getting this done quickly.
I think getting this done quickly is probably best, because the burning carriage will probably get the firefighters on our tail earlier than we would like. So this should probably burn properly before they can put it out.
We are quite isolated here, but so yeah, I agree. Let's get this done as quickly as we can. And I've got the keys, so we can lock the front door as well whilst we're busy working in here.
Perfect.
Might buy us some time. So yeah, I'll just carry on helping just as much as I can.
Okay. So you're all back helping in the house. And a couple of more hours pass and you manage to finish your work. I will ask for one more demolitions roll from Jonathan here for the general setup of all this beautiful explosives. Yep, you deem this is going to work. You think you've got everything set up suitably. And now, night has fallen. They swathed in darkness. And is there anything else you want to do before departing this place?
So, I don't think so. We have it blown up, basically, burning.
Or we go. So what's actually happened with it, or what's going on with it? What have we left, basically?
So we have presumably set fire to the coal at the bottom, setting up a natural draft just prior to it really beginning to get out of the way and away with itself. I've blasted the portion of the staircase, causing a slug of stone, if you will, to fall. I assume I have to do a roll for that part of the explosion.
No, this is all deemed on. I realise I never forgot to change the session title. This is going to really annoy me now. I never changed that.
So I assume I need a roll for that detonation as well? Or is it just
I'm
an
doing this
all-in-one?
all as one.
Okay, so that's gone off, making the staircase impassable, at least by normal mortal means.
So is this going off now? I thought whilst you're still here. Is that the plan?
Oh, I'm out at a safe distance and using the cord to detonate it.
Okay, so you're detonating this all whilst you're still here. Okay.
Which, unfortunately, with all the windows closed and the door locks, makes it a giant resonating chamber. Hopefully, we all aren't knocked out by it.
Wait, so you're staying inside the farmhouse?
Well, unless you want me to string the cord outside of the house, I could do that.
This is my question to you. Which are you doing?
I think we're in agreement. I'll stretch it outside of the farmhouse.
Okay, as you're heading out of the farmhouse, I'd like everyone to make me a spot hidden, please.
If you need that on hard, I'm gonna take that.
No. Success is enough. As you are spooling this cord outside as you're stepping out of the farmhouse, Franco, you notice something, or rather you notice the absence of something. So you look round towards the still burning carriage.
Body of the guy is missing.
The bodies are gone.
The bodies are gone.
We don't have to dispose of them.
Yeah, but they might come back.
And
what?
Are the horses' bodies missing as well?
No, the horses are still there.
What do you mean by they might come back? Somebody's going to bring them back and drop them back off?
I mean, somebody... They might have just survived that time.
You know, I'm pretty sure they were dead. You don't normally come back from death.
And as you say that, I need a spot hidden from Jonathan, because he said he does not see this coming. So as soon as he says those words, out of the shadows behind him, you just see two hands reach out and snatch him backwards into the shadows. As Jonathan, you feel these two dead hands, one of which very badly broken bone, just dragging you back into the dark, into the shadows, like the dim flickering light of the burning carriage lights, the limelight thrown to one side as you're being dragged backwards across this farmyard by what looks to be the half-burnt, singed and broken remains of the carriage driver. And I need a sanity roll from you at this moment, please.
Any chance I instinctively set off the ignition?
You didn't have a chance to see this coming, so I'll give you a luck roll on this if you want.
Why not?
But yes, I also need a sanity from you, so.
That's a no. Sanity.
The ignition falls from your hands and you're being dragged backwards. Sanity. Success. Only one loss of sanity points. Because you're not really putting everything quite together yet of
That's fair.
what this is in. So that takes your sanity down to... Do I need to do it, or is your keyboard still...
Yeah, I'm going to need help with the typing part. I'm going to have to change batteries.
It's fine.
I
also need a sanity roll from you two as you to witness this undead monstrosity dragging Jonathan backwards into the shadows, and both of you are aware enough of this kind of shit to realize that is some kind of risen half-burnt corpse that has just taken hold of him. I needed a d6 from each of you, please.
Boy.
So not too bad.
Says you.
Oh,
Perfect.
Mr. Bernice. Does that take you down below your daily limit?
Easily.
Roll me 1d10, please. As you descend into madness.
Is this another amnesia?
Let me just check that, as I'm going to ask, you know what? Jonathan, because you all apparently have a dex of 50, so I'm just going to do this based on proximity and sanity. Jonathan, something, probably not a walking dead man, but something horrible is dragging you back across this farmyard. What do you want to do?
I'm assuming I'm attempting to fight back.
Alright, yeah, give me a fighting brawl roll here. Oh god, one is another amnesia. Do I want another amnesia?
Ooh.
Yeah, you know what? Franco, once again, you have no idea what the hell is going on here. In fact, yes, Franco, you have no idea what is going on here. You don't remember any of the events or your plans. Jonathan. Alright. Yeah, you're, like, striking out at whatever this is that has hold of you. That will be 1d3 for an unarmed attack. If you're, are you trying to cause it injury or to try and escape from it? What's your goal here, actually?
I'm trying to escape.
Okay, in which case, as a maneuver, you manage to extricate yourself from this thing. You're no longer being dragged backwards, and you can see this half-burnt man looming over you. Mortimer, what are you doing?
Well, I'm assuming the detonator, what was that? Just simply like a plunger detonator type thing, or?
Let's say it's a plunger style for the sake of the conversation.
Well, seeing Jonathan drop it, I would have just grabbed that and just pressed it. And then I would have gone straight after him to help him with whatever it was.
So you're just blowing the place up.
I'm just setting it off, getting the job done, but I'm going after...
So how long would this give between the plunger going and the explosion going off?
It's pretty quick. It should be almost instantaneous.
Okay, it sizzled down. So in the moment that Mortimer is grabbing and pressing this plunger, Franco, what are you doing? You don't remember what's going on here.
I see someone ripping themselves away from what looks like a burnt dead corpse.
Yes.
That's moving.
Yes.
I have a shotgun in my hand.
Yes.
That might be loaded. I'm going to shoot. And hope.
Okay. Success! Alright, do you have the damage for the shotgun?
No, I don't.
Right. I need to remember to sort these things out. And as the shotgun, let's just say it's mid-range. Let's call this 2d6 for this range.
For 6 damage.
Alright, the shotgun blast knocks into this thing. And you see as, like, one of its arms is blown clean off and lands on the ground and then starts just twitching and clawing its way across the ground with this writhing, wriggling movement.
Nope.
And Jonathan, you see this wriggling thing writhing and wriggling towards you, and it's at this moment that there is an almighty boom from the direction echoing down. It's not going to blow the farmhouse up because it's mostly like constrained underneath, but you hear this loud explosion.
It might take out some windows if there's any windows closed.
Yeah, probably some splinters of shutters flying. I'm not sure if this place has glazing. Splintered shutters flying out as this explosion goes off from inside. A flash of light from the windows. And you can see as his hand's still crawling off the floor, the creature, the one that was going after Jonathan, is going to try and like lunge forward and try and like claw at him with its one remaining arm. It's not doing a great job. It does not, in fact, you don't need to roll. That was so badly, you don't need to roll anything against it. It's kind of flopping its way towards you, like lurching with one arm. The other one, though, because I need Mortimer and Franco. Could you both give me a look roll?
Who's got the worst look? Oh, wow! That was almost a success on that luck roll.
Is going to try and grab at Franco. Franco, you didn't know there were two. This thing.
I know there were two bodies. I
this
don't know
one
where the
is
second
even
one was.
more ruined. This one is barely functional. It's more like less it's attacking you, more it's just kind of falling towards you in a kind of lurching, jerking movement. You can try and dodge or fight back, Franco.
I'm just noticing it's completely irrelevant which one. Well, it's not. It's fine. I'm healthy. I'm trying to fight back. I see it coming and I try to turn around.
Okay, give me a fighting roll, please.
Yeah, well, no.
Fighting roll? Would that succeed with fighting?
Fighting roll, I'm stupid.
No, that would not succeed with fighting roll. It's an 86. That's fine.
Yeah.
It makes no difference. This thing crashes its weight in towards you, and this is not any kind of finesse or clever attack. This is a barely functional human body slamming its weight into you, but it's enough to knock you down to the ground underneath it. Is it like tries to like snarl with half a face looming down at you?
Okay.
Hang on, Jonathan. I think we're back round to you.
So I am a little freaked out and wondering what I should do. So I'm gonna go running towards the shed there, if you will, to see if there's any kind of farm implements left there, preferably large and bladed.
Okay, so you're running to the barn. You know what? Give me a spot hidden. Let's see what you can find and looking around this abandoned barn if there's anything useful. Bits of straw, a bit of sack, rope, nothing bladed.
You say rope?
Yes, rope.
Nice.
I was just going to ask, what about the shovels?
Wherever you left the shovels. But yeah, you run towards the barn, nothing useful in there.
I'm going to grab the rope, though, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Because rope's always useful.
Yeah, Mortimer, over to you.
Would I have any idea how long it would take me to invoke something?
What do you... depends what it is. Most of them are sort of ritual summonings and invocations rather than like off the cuff. Like...
Yeah, the invisible servant one.
I mean...
Is that something that'll take time or something I could do in a round or two sort of thing?
This is more something that will take...
Oh, actually, is it a cloudless night? Because I remember...
It is a cloudless night. The almost full moon is shining down upon you.
Because Mortimer's not much of a fighter as such, but something else might be.
Bear with me one moment whilst I am on entirely the wrong page of my book here. I always appreciate players choosing very sane things to do.
Of course it's sane. What's the worst that could happen?
Unfortunately for you, this is the kind of thing we're talking 5 minutes per point of magic spent.
Okay.
So 5 minutes minimum. And the longer, the more power you're putting into it and the more determined you are to do this.
No problem. So basically, I'd see Franco struggling with one of these creatures. Jonathan run towards the barn. The creature that was attacking him, is that in pursuit of him?
It had toppled over. It's on the ground at the moment.
So Franco's the one who needs help.
Yes.
What sort of condition does it look like?
It's not in good condition. Like, this is a guy who is very blown up already. So this is... Whatever is powering and moving this thing is having to fight against the fact that this body is broken.
Could I... I'm probably quite close. Could I draw both guns, put them to its head at point blank range and pull the triggers?
Not point blank, but you can get bonus from close range.
Well, that's what I'll do. I mean, the last time I shot, I got fumbles on both guns and several rolls. And
So if you're using both, that counts. That the 2 guns balances out with the bonus for being near, so that would be a straight roll for each one.
I'll just stick with the one. I'll just draw the one because I don't want to shoot Franco again, especially not with both guns, with a double fumble.
All right, yeah. So that's a bonus die to a shot.
Watch him roll 99 and 98. Oh no!
Hey!
Nice.
So,
Ooh.
that is a critical success. In fact, give you a 1d10. You're increasing your firearms here. Like, thank you to the gods who sent us a 1. In exactly the right moment. As Mortimer, you are essentially splattered with brains and blood as this man's head just explodes and the body twitches a few more times and slumps. Mortimer, you get to increase your firearms by 8. I'm not asking you to roll the damage here because it's the minimum you could do is more than enough. And that brings us down to Franco, now lying underneath this only slightly twitching dead body.
I'm gonna chop that off. Chop that off. Get up, look at where the other guy is. And aim and shoot and notice it's empty. And then break it up to reload.
Okay. The other thing down on the ground clambers up with its feet. And tries to say something, but is lacking most of the working body parts to talk due to being very exploded. You hear this rasping attempt at speech. It takes a few stumbled steps towards where Franco is reloading. Lunges forward with its one working arm, misses entirely. Jonathan, background to you.
I have the rope now in my hands.
Yes, you're in the barn with a rope.
And how far am I from the actual action at this point?
You can get back to it in a round.
Can I... Oh, yes, I'm going to go ahead and try to return to the action with the rope. I have an idea. How long is this rope, by the way? 2 meters, 1 meter, 6 inches.
10 feet.
That should be long enough. All right, so I'm dragging the rope and trying to make a noose or some sort of something I can grab a body with.
Okay, let's, if you don't have any particular skill you want to use for on-the-move noose making, I'm going to ask for a hard dexterity roll here.
Sure, I will try that.
And then we're going to go back around to Mortimer. Okay, so you're not, unfortunately, that's a plain success, not a hard success. You're struggling with trying to tie a noose and run back to things. Yeah. There's a lot going on, a lot of movement. Mortimer, background to you.
Much the same thing as before. I'm assuming it's still is it crawling along the floor?
No, it's on its feet now. Its arm's still crawling along the floor.
Oh. But it's still heading towards Jonathan?
It was heading towards Franco.
Oh, Franco. I'll try to move to the side and do the same sort of thing at very close range, shoot it in the head.
Okay, you got a bonus die for close range, yeah. Shot still goes well. It's like unpredictable lurching movement as it lunges closer, preparing to try again to take out Franco. What are you doing?
I have a gun. I will shoot it.
Fire with the shotgun.
I mean, it's coming close to me, so do I get a bonus die?
Yes, you're going to get a bonus die and also better damage from the shotgun as it's closer to you.
That's not enough, so... 5 points of luck! I'm gonna take that.
Hey! Alright, 5 points of luck. That is a success, and I believe that is 4d6 at this range.
Oh yeah.
You're free.
14 damage.
Bits of this creature. This one, I believe this is the carriage driver. Bits of this carriage driver is very splattered across. As Jonathan, you're running it with this rope. The only thing still moving now is the arm. Still wriggling and clawing its way across the ground. Twisting and moving.
I'm going to grab the other end of the arm then and just let it continue to move its fingers.
Yeah, you're holding this still wriggling arm.
That from the stump end.
Yes.
I think high fives was something different.
I'm thinking a movable appendage blunt instrument, Maybe beat the corpse with its own hand or something.
The corpse
Might
has
be a
ceased to
bit of a
move.
fire nearby.
Yeah, let's just throw those pieces into that fire there. And I start dragging that body in there.
And let's get out of here as quick as we can. To be
Yeah.
fair,
Ding, ding,
actually,
ding, 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 ding. You can hear an echo of a bell getting
We could
closer
just
along the road.
it looks like an explosion. We could leave the bodies where they are and just get out of here quickly.
Yeah, leave.
Yeah.
Let's
concur.
just go straight through the fields. There's a lot of underbrush there that hasn't been tended to.
And
We'll
we
hide
would have had our carriage out of the way, round the corner somewhere.
I
we could
assumed
run
you
through
weren't
the
parked up
fields.
in the middle of the farmyard, yeah.
Yeah, rather because we wouldn't have had it in the farmyard right in front of everything because they would have spotted it. But probably would have used a similar lay-by to the last place. And
Yeah. Okay, so what are you doing with the still moving arm?
Yeah, I don't think taking it with me is going to be appropriate. I'm just going to throw it out as from the moving cart, if you will.
You can chuck it out the carriage window.
Pretty much, yeah. I assume, by the way, that we're not heading towards London. We're smart enough to go the opposite direction.
yeah, we're heading the scenic route away from the sound, and we'll work another way back into the city.
I'm going to
Okay.
leave it. I'm going to leave it right in the middle of the road. Let it claw its way back to its masters.
So to get this right, you're leaving the moving severed human arm in the middle of the road leading out of London.
Might even put a note on it.
Why
Lost
not?
and found.
Who's going to notice it?
I'm probably going to carve in "Made in USA" on it as I throw it out.
So as you depart, you can hear what sounds like, at the very least, a fire engine with its horse-drawn fire engine coming up the road, being drawn probably by the first fire, not by the latter explosion. You lug it out across the fields, find your carriage, and head out of London.
I would have grabbed the blast, the detonation thing, whatever it was, as well as whilst we were getting towards the carriage, taking all that. So it doesn't look as if we've blown the place up with a detonator.
Okay, so yeah, you loop back round the long way back towards London. Franco, your memories are starting to return to you now. But still you find your hands sort of trembling with the after effects of that was a dead man. A dead man that essentially the three of you, Jonathan killed, and then he came back. And
I hate it. Thanks a lot.
Jonathan too. I mean, you held it together and you're prepared, but I mean, I don't know whether Jonathan believes in strange things or not, but
After the war, I've learned to compartmentalize and not get shut down in the moment.
Not to think too much.
Yeah, you just got to learn to act and not think about it.
but now as distance grows between it,
It'll register later.
it's starting to, what you saw as you know at safe distance is starting to register as maybe what they were talking about with the dragon was not quite as insane as it first sounded.
I guess things do go bump in the night.
Yep. Yep.
That they do. I've not seen a walking corpse before.
I've heard stories. I mean, we all did in Sunday school, right? I mean, Lazarus came back, so why not something else?
True.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm gonna not sleep well tonight.
Tell you what, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure, though. Is this normal for you?
It seems to be getting that way. It seems a surprise every day.
It seems to be too normal for normal. Too often than we would like, I think.
But you can see why we wanted rid of that place.
Yeah.
Yes. Obviously, you can't run around blowing buildings up every day, but
It's first for me.
if you ever need assistance like this again, you know, I can be reached.
It was a very good job, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're all alive, right? So, guess that's fine.
I assume none of you guys left identifying information on the scene, though.
Not that I'd know of.
No monogrammed luxury items or anything that were left?
No.
No. There is the unconscious person down in one of the cells, but I don't think he's going to be much of a problem.
Pretty sure by now he's not unconscious. He's probably dead, since he would have no oxygen to breathe.
He might still be walking around down there anyway, though.
Well, I guess we left no dead, so there you go.
Let's see.
Oh boy.
Oh, by the way, Jonathan, I grabbed this. Well, you would see anyway. The detonator and whatever I could have grabbed from that.
Thank you. That one could have probably come back to haunt me.
Yeah, it looked as much of a natural accident as possible.
That was the intent.
Okay. So, as after a long detour, you return to London, is the intention to part ways with Mr. Cooper? Or Mr. Cooper, are you sticking around to see the immediate aftermath of this? Basically, are you going back to your own home or taking lodgings in the many spare rooms of the society that evening?
I haven't honestly made a decision yet.
To be fair, I would have invited him to join both myself and Franco for a drink, because I think we need a drink after all that.
Yeah. Drink at dinner, right?
At the very least.
Could certainly go for a scotch right about now.
And we probably need to have some sort of wash.
Mm-hmm.
So
at least that much.
New clothing, good clothing, and then a nice little scotch.
Or perhaps a brandy with a cigar or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good.
So, as you arrive back at the society, let back in by the ask no questions, James. I mean, also your carriage driver asks no questions either. He just rolls it. This is a normal night out. If you heading up to variously clean yourselves off and change for it before you sit down for a brandy. Franco, as you head upstairs to the room you've been using in the society, as you step inside in the shadows, you hear the same familiar whisper that you heard back down from the cellar entrance. Well, that was interesting.
It was, wasn't it?
But I'm sure you know it won't be enough. The stone remains. It would take far more than that. Far more indeed.
True. But for now, it'll keep people from engaging, right?
Perhaps. But I'm watching you now.
Sure. Don't think I'll make it that long anyway. I'll go to my nightstand and take out the little statuette that I have.
Well, as you go to your nightstand, as you go to the, you got this is a little silvered mirror on the nightstand, and as you look at the face looking back at you is not yours.
Oh, okay.
You see, looking back at you, it's whatever this face is. It's been dead a long time. Skin sunken back over bones, greyed with time. Eyes hollowed out as it stares back at you for just a briefest moments. Give me a sanity check, please.
This is gonna be fine.
And like with a blink, you realise it's not that. This isn't real. You're hearing things. This is just after effects of the shock of the event. This is just a hallucination. It's you see your own face in the mirror.
Yeah.
There's no voice in your ears. It's
just the way I ended that from earlier. That's fine. That's just the way my brain handles things. And I go grab my little statuette, place it beside me as I go to bed, because I need something to.
Are you joining the others for a drink downstairs first, or?
Oh, you're right. I'm joining the others for the drink. Yeah. I was in my mind we were already after that, but yeah, I'm joining the others for the drink.
Perhaps a little later down than the pair of them.
Yeah. Take a moment, listen to the waves, and then go down.
Yeah. Head back downstairs. Enjoy. There's a very fine selection of brandies and sherries actually in the society. It seems Lady Irene keeps a well-stocked liquor cabinet.
So, Jonathan, you mentioned you had served. Whereabout had you served in the military?
Well, I'm originally from Pennsylvania, so during the outbreak of the Civil War, if you will, during the rebellion, I ended up going to defend my state and eventually serving my country that way. Saw a lot of nasty stuff, though. Got very disgruntled. Ended up going to Canada. And eventually came here to England, where, civilized people live.
Very civilized here, especially it was in little farmhouses.
Mostly civilized. Let's just say it's highbrow.
I myself had served in the Second India-Afghanistan Wars.
Oh, I see.
And there are some strange things you do see and hear about. You tend to shut them off and forget about them as long as you can, but usually you do end up remembering, usually late at night.
Yes. The ghosts, if you will, of our past. They're just there on the outside edges, aren't they? Clawing their way in.
And there's a lot of things you see which you don't believe could be real, and you forget about, and then, like what we've seen tonight.
Indeed.
Things that shouldn't be real seem to be.
Yeah, it seems like reality in the sunlight is not the same as at night, doesn't it?
There's a phrase, I believe, reality as is not quite as it seems.
Yes. There's a lot. I haven't really strayed into it so much, but I would definitely give you that. There's more to it than it's on the surface.
We shall have to see what comes out of this.
And it's at that moment that your quiet drinks are interrupted by a frantic knocking at the front door. Franco, you're just heading down. Oh yeah, you joined them for this. Yeah, you hear bang, 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 bang.
Okay. James? I'm gonna go to the door then.
So James is probably you downstairs like, okay. Frankie, as you head to the door.
Yeah.
On the doorstep, looking dishevelled, distressed, and also rather surprised to see you here, perhaps, is Dr. Lake, Dr. Nathan Lake of the Albrook Sanatorium, standing on your doorstep.
If you're here, you have a problem. Come in.
Wait, you're with... Oh, I'm so
Come in.
confused. Yeah.
And I'm closing the door and lead him to the room where we just wanted to get some drinks.
Dr. Davenport?
Dr. Lake, what brings you here?
What brings you... Wait.
Oh, I've been asked to help as a physician as and when required.
You're with these people?
As a consultant as a physician as and when they
doesn't
require
matter.
it.
I need your help. I don't know. I've been... Ever since, Archibald Elgray, he took Lucy back. I've had people keeping an eye on his house in London. I knew he had something planned, but there was a commotion earlier tonight. They took a carriage, they've headed north. I think he's going to his estates up near the borders, up near Scotland. Whatever he's got planned, I don't know, but I think it's something to do... There's a full moon tomorrow. I'm fairly sure the moon has something to do with it. I don't really know exactly what it is, but Lucy says that the moon is important. Tomorrow's a full moon. It seemed urgent. I need your help. I know that perhaps we have not seen eye to eye in the past, but this is important. This is urgent. Please, this is Lucy. I need your help.
I grab a bottle of brandy.
Pardon?
Oh, sorry, has he taken Lucy with him then?
Yeah, he took Lucy.
I take a bottle of brandy and just fill a glass to the brim and just place it right in front of him.
Thank you.
So, what do you know?
And as he prepares to explain everything he knows, that is where we're going to end for today.